When you use computer programs such as Microsoft Word, have you ever wondered exactly what size is a 12-point font? There are some preset numbers, and then you can also select your own, but what is the point? And what is the point of a font size? This video will cover text measurement standards, covering what point size is based on and why we are offered these numbers when picking a font size. Point size is a legacy from the letterpress system, where each letter was etched into a small metal block. The point size actually refers to the size of this metal block, and not the size of the letter. Each font was made into various point sizes of metal letterpresses for printers to pick from. To this day, we tend to use 12-point or even 10-point or 14-point font for text type or blocks of longer text. And then for display type or headers and headlines, we could go bigger to draw attention to certain parts of a page or to help divide up the information on the page. Back when typesetters actually set type for graphic designers, they used typographical rulers called type gauges to help determine point size. You can see that inches are noted on one of these gauges. But if we place the same ruler next to letterpresses of various metal typefaces, we can say they are not all 1 inch tall or even the same sizes. You can also see on the right side of the gauge is the number 6. This refers to picas. These are units of measurement used for centuries by printers and typesetters to standardize the size of typeface and metal blocks of letterpress. In America, we tend to measure in inches, and you can see that 6 picas equals about 1 inch. Therefore, picas are approximately 1/6 of an inch. 6 picas equals about an inch. To offer even more variation to type sizes, we now measure type in points. And as you can see, there are 12 points per pica and 72 points per inch. Therefore, in theory, 70 points should measure about 1 inch of the height of a text. Or, if you picked 72 on a computer program such as Word when you were deciding the size of your text, the height of the text should be about 1 inch. But let's take a moment to check the accuracy of this standardized measurement of type. In an earlier video, we discussed serif fonts. Here are a few of them. You'll recall serif fonts have feet or flourishes at the top and bottom of some letter forms, making them unique. Now, all of these serif fonts are set to 72 points, so they should be 1 inch tall. But remember, point size is based off the small letter X in a font family, which is called X height. This is why point sizes may seem to vary from font to font, because the size of the small x will vary too. So if we lay a 1 inch graph over these fonts, we can see they are not all exactly 1 inch tall. Factors such as X height, stroke, ascenders and descenders, and weight of the typefaces vary. So therefore, the point size will also vary. Let's try this same experiment with sans serif fonts. Remember, these are typefaces without feet or flourishes at the bottom of the characters, and they tend to be more blocky and made out of straight stems and strokes. Now, all of these sentences are set to 72 points, but when we measure them with our 1 inch graph, we can see the actual point sizes differ depending on the typeface. Now, ironically, point size is perhaps the element most used to describe the legibility of typeface, but as our experiment showed, it can also be the most deceptive. Therefore, keeping point size in mind is an important consideration when determining what fonts to use for design projects. Remember, the primary concern of a graphic designer when sizing font is to keep in mind the user and the end goal of the project. What is the intention of the design project, and where do you want the attention of the viewer or user to go? Both of which are key design challenges to remember when picking a point size of a font.